What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 723 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the city of Vineland. It's your boy KB coming at you solo dolo to get your week started off, and hopefully a little bit better than me. If you see me squirming on the YouTube or I sound a little different throughout the episode, your boy's backlocked up on him last night, leaving the Wings game, and my upper middle back is in shambles, and I guess that is one of the cons of getting older, is sometimes you just don't know how your body is going to react to certain things. Maybe I need to reassess my backpack organization when I'm on the road, but right now the back is hurting pretty bad. So if you're watching on YouTube and you see me moving around a ton and trying to get comfortable, that is the reason. But we're going to have some fun. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk some Eagles and NFL as I record this on Sunday night. The NFL just decided to pop all the way off on a Sunday night, and everybody just getting crazy bags. We're going to go through a bunch of the big money contracts that got signed today because 10 guys got new contracts and or new teams. So we're going to talk all about that, what it means potentially for some of the Eagles pending free agents, and what we can expect as the legal tampering period gets going this week. We'll talk some Phillies as spring training is full-fledged underway. Seen some guys get reassigned to minor league camp, getting assigned to the minors in general, whether it be AAA, AA, across the board. We'll talk a little Daryl Morey because this quote is making the rounds at one of the conferences that he was at this week, and I don't like talking about the basketball team right now because they are such a circus. But we're going to talk about this because I think it's important to kind of dissect this and why it's important to have people running the show like Howie Roseman and Dave Dombrowski and Danny Briere as opposed to Daryl Morey. We'll talk some Flyers as well, and we'll talk a little Union as those boys are buzzing to start this MLS season. Plus a little news and notes from around the underground to get you guys going for the week. But before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. We have quite a few big announcements coming this week that involve you guys. March Madness is right around the corner, so we'll be talking a little madness on the socials this week. You won't want to miss the announcements, and that's why you got to follow us on every social platform at Underground PHI. You can follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311, Instagram and Threads KBIZZLE11. Subscribe to the pod. I'm going to say it one more time. Subscribe to the pod, wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify. It genuinely helps this show continue to grow in ways that you guys don't even understand when you subscribe on the audio platforms. Leave us a 5-star review. It goes a long way, so keep subscribing. Leave the reviews. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Keep subscribing on Apple and Spotify. And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, including our Underground Madness live streams that will be coming to you in just a week's time. We're almost there. So keep subscribing to our YouTube channel. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment in the comment section. Smash that like button, click the bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. And this show is proudly presented by the City of Vineland. And the City of Vineland Municipal Calendar features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on their social media platforms, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and or YouTube. And through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city of Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast.
I'm Mayor Anthony Finucci. If you're looking for the right location, think Vineland, New Jersey. Our pro-business approach is supported by financial incentives, workforce development programs, and other resources which can give your business a competitive edge. Whether you're starting a new business or expanding to new markets, our business environment, infrastructure, accessibility, and quality of life make Vineland an ideal location. More information about how we can help your business grow can be found at vinelandcity.org. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Philly sports fans alike, it's time to talk the football. It's time to talk the Philadelphia Eagles, and it is brought to you by our friends over at 47 Brand. We love 47 Brand here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's genuinely my go-to hat. I'm rocking an amazing Flyers hat right now as I'm wearing a Flyers jersey that I got so lucky to get at a certain place, which I'll talk about during our Flyer segment. 47 is my go-to hat choice. I've been wearing 47 Brand for over a decade. Their hats are comfortable. The styles are unique. And genuinely, they've got a style and a team for everybody out there, whether it be your favorite NFL team, MLB, NHL, NBA, college sports. They've got NASCAR, Premier League soccer, minor league baseball. They've got everything and then some. I love 47 Brand. You guys need to get on the 47 family train. Use our link in the description. Shop everything 47 has to offer. Phillies, Flyers, Eagles, Sixers, Iron Pigs, Reading Phillies, you name it. They've got it. They've got it. When you use our link in the description, you get free shipping on all orders when you join the 47 family today. Again, that's free shipping on all orders with our friends at 47 Brand when you use our link and join the 47 family. And we thank 47 Brand for being a proud partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. So where do I start? It's been a month. It's been a month since the Philadelphia Eagles reclaimed the title as Super Bowl champions. It's crazy that it's been a month, and it feels like yesterday and a decade ago all at the same time. It still has not fully sunk in with me that the Eagles have won the Super Bowl, and I know I've said that a ton since it happened, and I thought by now it would set in, but genuinely, the Eagles put out their last mic'd up. They put out a whole bunch of stuff this week, too, as their social admins come back from their well-deserved vacations. I sit and I watch these, and moments I'm genuinely teary-eyed. I'm crying at certain moments. The Cooper DeJean interception, the Zach Bond interception, all the sacks that they were accumulating, the A.J. Brown touchdown, I get chills. Obviously, the Devontae Smith touchdown gets me every single time. But, I'm sitting there watching all of this, and it's all mic'd up, and seeing just these guys who care about each other and are playing as a team. And Nick Sirianni said it all season. It's like they showcased what it's like to win as a team. They showcased what it's like to play the ultimate team sport. And these mic'd up videos from the Super Bowl showcase that in a way that I don't remember any other team having that type of camaraderie in my lifetime. It's insane how close-knit and gelled this team was. And even when they had their ups and downs, they still came together for a common purpose and found a way to have the ultimate belt-to-ass Super Bowl victory of all time. And I don't know when it'll set in, but man, like, a month has gone by, which tells you how crazy time moves, but I'm just genuinely, like, so proud of this team still. And I will be forever. But I'm just so proud of the way that they performed. And, you know, the Philly card show was this weekend, and all the guys were out signing autographs and stuff like that. And I don't know, man. Like, the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles are the greatest team of my lifetime. And not just the Eagles team. Hands down, greatest Eagles team of my lifetime. No doubt about it. There's no doubt about the simple fact that this is the greatest Eagles team of all time. But this genuinely may be the greatest sports team I've ever watched to date. That includes a team that I hold near and dear to my heart, and that's the 2008 Philadelphia Phillies. That includes a team I hold near and dear to my heart, and that's the 2017 Philadelphia Eagles. That includes two Villanova basketball teams that I hold very near and dear to my heart because I grew up a Villanova basketball fan since I was in 7th grade. Those are the championships I watched in my lifetime before Super Bowl 59. And even 2022 happens. 2009, 2010, 2011 happens with the Phillies. 2001 with the Sixers. I was still relatively young, but like I watched that team, and you know, it was Allen Iverson and company. I watched the 2010 Flyers in my lifetime. Nothing has compared to just the sense of accomplishment and just dominance that this Eagles team put on display for the entire world to see. Now, I know we're here a month later still like rehashing the Super Bowl, but it's crazy to me that like I still have so many thoughts on a game that is so clear-cut of what happened. But so much did happen underneath that surface level discussion. And you know, like, the 2008 Phillies was the first championship of my lifetime that I got to witness. You know, I had 2001 with the Sixers. The run of Andy Reid Eagles teams going to the NFC Championship game. 2004. 2008 with the Eagles. 2008 with the Phillies happens, and it was just a feeling that I had never experienced before. And it's heightened that much more for me and for Harrison because it was on our birthday. Like, Harrison and I were born on October 29th, and the World Series getting rained out pushed the remainder of the game to our birthdays. And that's a feeling like I'll never be able to replicate that feeling. Like, that'll never happen again to the degree that it happened. My first championship victory as a fan happening on my 15th birthday is like, that's like Disney movie shit. And it's something that I'll never be able to, like, Harrison is one of the few people I can share that experience with because we share a birthday. We shared a common experience to the same level. Like, there's a lot of people that experience that Phillies World Series victory, that experienced 1980, that experienced the team going in 1993. You know, I was born after the 93 World Series finished, so I never experienced that, thankfully. But then 08 happens and they win a championship. That's my first championship experience. And it's on my birthday. You can't share that experience with anyone else unless it was also their birthday. So it's cool that I have a co-host that I can always like reminisce on that full-fledged experience with. But this Eagles team and the way they won and just the team, like, it's just so cool that, you know, the way they did it and how they'll be remembered is just fascinating. And I just I feel thankful that this team got it done. And, you know, it's something we didn't get to discuss all that much on Thursday's show. I forgot to bring it up, quite honestly. But not only did Nolan Smith tear his triceps in the Super Bowl, Brandon Graham reportedly retore his triceps in the Super Bowl. So he comes back, plays, and then re-tears the triceps and goes on to be a 2-time Super Bowl champion. I mean, Brandon Graham's story deserves a movie. He genuinely deserves a movie. And I know we've waxed poetic about BG's career a lot this season in particular on this show. But like the fact that it culminated with him coming back from this injury and then plays in the Super Bowl and sustains the same injury. He's a legend. And I know in football, it is one of those things that it's so difficult to really decide on whose number gets retired in your organization. But like, if Brandon Graham doesn't have number 55 retired, I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked. A 15-year career in one uniform, a 2-time Super Bowl champion, delivered the biggest play in franchise history, a consummate pro, an absolute leader on and off the field, and turned his career from being someone that nobody understood why he was drafted to battling through scheme change, position change, coach change, culture change multiple times. Like, we forget that Brandon Graham has played for every coach in, like, millennials' lifetimes. You know, he played for Andy Reid. He played for Chip Kelly. He played for Doug Peterson, and he's played for Nick Sirianni. That doesn't traditionally happen with players. They either don't have careers that last that long, or the teams move on from them, and they don't get those opportunities. Brandon Graham has gotten that opportunity not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times to redefine what he does well and how he's viewed in this organization, and none of that's really ever changed. The perspective on Brandon Graham has never really changed. And I genuinely feel like he should have his number retired. You know, there's X amount of numbers available in the NFL. I don't see it right for anybody in the Eagles organization's history to wear number 55 ever again when PG hangs it up. It's the story of what being an Eagle is all about. Like, Brandon Graham defines what it means to be a Philadelphia Eagle. He defines the culture. He defines the attitude. He defines the work ethic. He defines what it means to put on that jersey. Like, he's a franchise legend that we are all lucky enough to exist at the same time that Brandon Graham's Eagles tenure existed. And I salute Brandon Graham so much. He is a dream guest for me on this show at any point. At any point, Brandon Graham is welcome on Underground Sports Philadelphia. He is everything and then some about what it means to wear an Eagles uniform, and for him to go out re-injure such a drastic injury too. He genuinely put it all on the line. And I can't thank PG enough for that. But not much else in the Eagles news world that pertains to re-signings. There was a report from a reporter from NJ.com that I did retweet that apparently Milton Williams' team has not spoken to the Eagles at all this offseason, and it feels very unlikely that he's going to be back, which is unfortunate. Obviously, I love Milton Williams, but he was bound to get paid, and rightfully so. And I just tweeted, hey, Kenneth Grant, you are a Philadelphia Eagle. But that is unfortunate that they haven't spoken. Maybe it's just, circumstance, whatever. Just trying to lay the land. But we're going to talk some NFL news as well, because Sunday was a free agent, pre-free agent frenzy in the National Football League. So many deals were handed out across the board with multiple teams, trades happening, and here's how it all showed. 10 deals that are big money contracts that were dished out on Sunday. Shout out to PFN for putting this together for me to read this off of. Close to $1 billion was handed out on the eve of NFL free agency. Number 10, defensive tackle Jarran Reed from the Seattle Seahawks, 3 years, $25 million. Number 9, staying with the Seattle Seahawks, linebacker Ernest Jones IV, 3 years, $33 million. Outside linebacker Harold Landry, who was just released a couple of days ago from the Titans, going back with Mike Vrabel, joining the Patriots on a 3-year, $43.5 million deal. The Falcons give Jake Matthews, their left tackle, a 2-year, $45 million deal. The New York Jets signed linebacker Jamien Sherwood to a 3-year, $45 million deal. Nick Bolton is going back to the Chiefs on a 3-year, $45 million deal. A little team switch in here with these next two. Recently released wide receiver Davante Adams signs a 2-year, $46 million deal with the Los Angeles Rams. And then the big one, the big wide receiver deal. DK Metcalf gets traded from the Seattle Seahawks to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a future second-round pick. And then DK subsequently signs a 5-year, $150 million extension with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Myles Garrett to the Eagles dream is over, as Myles Garrett signs a 4-year, $160 million deal with $123 million guaranteed. And then Josh Allen receives a 6-year, $330 million extension with the Buffalo Bills. And on top of that, shout out South Jersey, even though I hate that you play for the Dallas Cowboys. Marquise Bell signs a 3-year, up to $12 million deal with the Dallas Cowboys. Shout out to South Jersey's finest. Close to $1 billion dished out. And we still don't have a Jamar Chase extension. We still don't have a T. Higgins potential contract. We still don't have what Milton Williams and Josh Sweat could potentially get in their free agent deals. And now that the Myles Garrett to Philadelphia rumor is dead, and I laugh because I think Myles Garrett's a very talented player, but it tells me everything I need to know about what motivates him. And sure, that money is life-changing. $123 million guaranteed in the NFL. He's the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Same agent as Jalen Hurts, by the way. Shout out to Nicole Lynn. But it tells me everything I need to know about Myles Garrett, and I'm quite frankly very happy that the Eagles are not paying him $40 million a year at the age of 30. He's very talented. Don't get me wrong. But the Eagles can get that help in the draft. They can get that help elsewhere in free agency, via trade, whatever it may be. There's other ways to get production at the edge rusher position at a cheaper rate for still high-class production. So I'm not all that bent out of shape that we are not going to acquire one Myles Garrett. The thing that this tells me is, guys were going to get locked up by their teams prior to the legal tampering period. And now, you look at Eagles free agents. Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, Darius Slay, Isaiah Rodgers allegedly is getting a lot of buzz with multiple teams when free agency opens. Some of these big names, Mekhi Becton. What does it mean for those guys and a potential return to Philadelphia? And also, what does it mean for their numbers on the open market now that the market's kind of been set with Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, in terms of guys like Josh Sweat, Milton Williams? It really makes you wonder what free agency is going to look like when it opens. I don't know what the Eagles are going to do in free agency. But let's take a look at Spotrac, however you want to pronounce it, and their NFL free agents. And I believe Aaron Jones also signed a 2-year, $20 million deal to stay in Minnesota today as well. So we look at available free agents. Joey Bosa is obviously a big name out there. Doesn't really fit the Eagles, in my opinion. Stephon Diggs, free agent. Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, Von Miller, who Lane Johnson was tweeting at, but I don't want a 36-year-old Von Miller, quite frankly. Brandon Cooks. Khalil Mack is somebody that intrigues me. I still think he plays with elite talent, even at the age of 34. On a 1-year deal, I could see that potentially working. Hassan Reddick is out there as well. Potential reunion candidate there with the Eagles. Evan Ingram was released this week, too. I think that's pretty interesting as a potential tight end 2 option. Matthew Judon will be a free agent as well. DeMarcus Lawrence is going to hit free agency. Preston Smith, Zadarius Smith was released by the Lions today. Sheldon Rankins is going to be out there. BJ Hill, DJ Jones. Byron Murphy is an interesting one at the corner position if Slay and Isaiah Rodgers are not back. Jeff Okuda is going to be a free agent. That's fascinating. Kendall Fuller could be a potential candidate. Russell Douglas, I wouldn't mind seeing him back in Philadelphia, honestly. A lot of interesting names out there. That could really, benefit the Eagles if they decided to take to free agency with some of these moves. I'm not saying everything needs to be filled in via free agency because I think that would be absolutely silly. But I do think Devin Duvernay is an interesting one too at the wide receiver kind of return man position as well. There's a lot of interesting names out there. Jamal Williams, potential running back to bring in if Kenny Gainwell leaves in free agency. So there's a lot that the Eagles could do. It's just going to be a matter of let's see how the market kind of plays out. And that's going to dictate a bunch when it comes to this free agency period when it opens up. Which I believe it's... let's see. Start date. What day does NFL free agency start? So, full-fledged free agency starts March 12th, but we're going to start getting rumors by the time you guys are listening to this on Monday with the legal tampering period, and then teams can make deals official when the new league year begins on Wednesday, March 12th. So when Harrison and I record on Wednesday night, we're going to be talking about potential free agent signings that Howie Roseman brings to the table, which is going to be a ton of fun. And there's no better way to celebrate new players coming to a team, players coming back to a team, and all the in-betweens than with our good pals at Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, 120 calories, just 8 grams of carbs. You guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com. See it right there if you're watching on the YouTube. kenwoodbeer.com and use the Kenny Finder to see who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Maryland, New Jersey, and Delaware areas. You can also find Kenwood Beer at your local liquor stores in those markets. Once again, that's kenwoodbeer.com. Must be 21 or older to do so. And please, guys, drink responsibly. Let's shift to the Fightins. The Fightins. The Phillies are full-fledged spring training, obviously. Not too much craziness, I would say, in terms of Phillies news, but there is one thing we have to talk about, and that is Matt Strahm has a sore shoulder. That happens on Sunday. He's not going to be used for several days, according to Rob Thompson, after the Phillies went belt to ass on the Orioles 12-2 on Sunday. Strahm's pitched twice in spring training, and it hasn't been an ideal spring training. His velocity has been down as well. Thompson said there's nothing wrong with him. We're going to back off for a few days, but he came up with a little bit of a sore shoulder. Hopefully, this doesn't screw up anything for Strahm. Obviously, the season starts in 17 days. But it's not the only injury around the National League East. NBC Sports Philadelphia put this article out. I think Corey Seidman put it out. The Mets, their starting catcher is going to miss 6 to 8 weeks. Francisco Alvarez, he fractured his left hand, that hamate injury. So he's going to be out for like 2 months pretty much, which puts him out until like mid-May at the soonest. Brandon Nimmo has knee inflammation and got a gel injection this weekend. Sean Manaea and Frankie Montas are sidelined. They're not going to begin the season on time. Sean Murphy is out 4 to 6 weeks with a cracked rib for the Braves. And Jurickson Profar has a bone bruise in his left wrist. I am just hoping the rest of the Phillies make it through uninjured. And on top of that, Jesus Luzardo looks phenomenal. Phenomenal. We haven't really talked too much about it, but his velocity, he's hitting 98. Christopher Sanchez is hitting 98. Hell, even Taijuan Walker, my guy, his velocity is up in the high 93s, the 92s. Sinkers hitting about that same spot as well. That's massive for this team. And if the Phillies just continue to play their game, you know, it's one of those things that we talk about it a ton on here because you guys know how positive I am about the Philadelphia Phillies. This team is talented. They're uber talented. And once they get in a groove, things are going to look great. And they have the best starting rotation in baseball. You can throw any rotation at me. 99% of the time, I'm going to take this Phillies rotation of Wheeler, Nola, Sanchez, Suarez, Luzardo, throw in Taijuan Walker, throw in Andrew Painter. Okay? Like, this team has dudes. And how do you win in baseball? Great starting pitching. How do you win in the playoffs? Great starting pitching. Hitting is such a crapshoot in the playoffs in particular. But this Phillies team has the guys who can hit. Max Kepler's been unbelievable. Like I tried to tell all of you that Max Kepler was going to be a difference maker in this lineup because of the type of hitter he is. But how could this be? How could this be that Max Kepler's actually producing? Now you can hit me with the argument it's spring training still, sure. But guess what? Max Kepler's producing. Tried to tell you. This lineup's going to be nasty. They're going to hit. They're going to score runs. And their starting pitching is going to dominate lineups more often than not. The bullpen, obviously, there's some question marks. But I like what I've seen from Jordan Romano. Hopefully Strahm gets healthy. Taijuan's probably going to be in the bullpen as your long man. You know, Alvarado's looked phenomenal. And I just genuinely don't get the overarching hate that the Phillies get. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. I understand, guys, that they have taken steps back when it comes to postseason baseball. But baseball, to gauge whether or not your team is improving and good, is to see what they do season over season in the regular season. See how they improve year over year in the regular season, because that's going to tell you what improvements they're making. That's going to tell you what they do well. And there's so much randomness to baseball playoffs that you can't gauge if a team is good in the playoffs. The fucking Texas Rangers won the World Series a couple years ago against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Like, it's such a a crapshoot in the playoffs, and you just have to be the team that gets hot. And I will die on the hill. Like, I will not be surprised when the Phillies win the NL East again this year. Will not be surprised. What do the Braves have that scare you? Please tell me. Are they a good team? Sure. Are they...
At the Vineland Municipal Utilities, we understand that when our business community thrives, we all win. As a not-for-profit utility, our reliability, lower cost of operations, and flexibility in meeting customer needs make doing business in Vineland beneficial to your bottom line. What's more, we are able to do so while maintaining our commitment to environmental stewardship. We look forward to helping you achieve your business goals now and for years to come. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
Are they blowing the doors off you with their starting pitching? I honestly, outside of Spencer Strider, I can't name a pitcher in the Braves rotation anymore. And Strider, I don't even know if he's going to be healthy to start the year. Sure, they have Chris Sale. But again, was last year one of those years for the Braves that Chris Sale just had their voodoo magic? I don't know. You know, you look at their depth chart. Let's see. Chris Sale, Reynaldo Lopez has not looked good in spring training from reports I've seen. Spencer Schwellenbach does not scare me. Ian Anderson does not scare me. Strider, when he comes back, is going to be a problem as always, but we'll see what he looks like coming off of injury. Bryce Elder does not scare me. AJ Smith Shawver does not scare me. Nothing about, I mean, you look at their bullpen. Raisel Iglesias, very talented reliever, closer. This Braves bullpen features 3 former Phillies of Jake Diekman, Hector Neris, shout out to the boy, but not going to root for you this year, and Enyel De Los Santos. Does that scare you? Sean Murphy's injured. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. So they're going to be starting with a backup catcher. Darno's gone. So he can't hurt us anymore. They've got Marcell Ozuna listed as a backup first baseman. Matt Olson had a really down year last year in terms of Matt Olson production. Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley, all very talented players. We'll see what they do this year. Orlando Arcia does not scare me. He's a certified loser. Jurickson Profar got injured. We'll see what happens. He also seems to not perform well unless he's with the Padres. So we'll see how that signing works out for them. I'm pissed that the Braves have Brian De La Cruz. Michael Harris, talented player. Jarred Kelenic, we'll see. And then Ozuna is their DH. Their lineup doesn't really scare me all that much. I think it's a beatable lineup. You look at the Mets. You look at the Mets in the NL East. Sure, they signed Soto. They did what they had to do in the offseason to bring guys back. You know, Pete Alonso's back. But you look at the Mets depth chart. Shamanai is injured right now. Montas injured. They have Kodai Senga, who I think is their best pitcher. David Peterson, Clay Holmes, Paul Blackburn, and Griffin Canning. Outside of Kodai Senga, even including Minaya and Montas, nothing there scares me. Edwin Diaz is the closer. Obviously, talented guy. We'll see how he looks another year older and another year removed from his catastrophic knee injury. Their bullpen doesn't terrify me. Ryan Stanek, sure. Reed Garrett, Sure, Jose Butto, Tylor McGill, AJ Minter, Sean Reed Foley. Nobody in that bullpen outside of Edwin Diaz and maybe Ryan Stanek do anything to terrify me. They're all beatable pitchers in my opinion. Francisco Alvarez out to start the season for 2 months. Pete Alonso's back, sure. We'll see if he hits over 225 with those 47 home runs he hits. Jeff McNeil's back at second base. You know, their wonder boy Luis Angel Acuna can't even beat out Jeff McNeil. Mark Vientos is at third. He's going to be a thorn in our side. I already can't stand him. Lindor at short. He's very talented. Nimmo, absolute dork. Got a knee injection. We'll see how that lasts for him. He's supposed to be their starting left fielder. Other than that, it's Jesse Winker, Tyrone Taylor. Tyrone Taylor's their starting center fielder, along with Jose Siri backing him up. Soto's going to be in right. Starling Marte is not even starting for them anywhere right now. And Jesse Winker is their slated starting DH. I don't know. Do I sound crazy that I'm not terrified of the New York Mets? Like, maybe this comes back to haunt me, in a couple months if the Mets are proving that they're a good team, on a consistent basis. But, like, that team doesn't scare me. That team doesn't instill fear in me. That's not like going up against the Dodgers, who have Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani and Max Muncy and Will Smith and, all those boys. It's not even, like, remotely close. Like, I genuinely believe the Phillies are the second best team in the National League. And it's not that far off. Because I think the Phillies starting rotation is better than the Dodgers. Depth-wise, I think the Phillies have a better starting 9. They have Teoscar out there in L.A. Let me look at the Dodgers depth chart just to make sure I didn't forget anybody off the top of my head that they may have signed. But, like, the Dodgers rotation, you have Blake Snell, sure. Yamamoto, we'll see how long, he stays healthy. He's got to stay healthy. Tyler Glasnow is a glass cannon arm. I love Glasnow, but he's a glass cannon. Shohei's not going to start the season pitching. Roki Sasaki, rookie. Kershaw's back. Dustin May, I think, is going to be out, if I'm not mistaken, or he could be back. Gavin Stone's out for the whole year. River Ryan's out for at least he's on the 60-day IL. Tony Gonsolin, not getting any younger. Their bullpen is good. The Dodgers bullpen is very good. Tanner Scott, Michael Kopech, Blake Trinan, Bruce Dark-Adderall, Kirby Yates, Anthony Banda. Good bullpen, for sure. Will Smith, great catcher. Freddie Freeman. Tommy Edman was like a postseason hero for them. We'll see if that's sustainable for the whole year at second base for them. Max Muncy, Mookie Betts at short. Left field is Michael Conforto. Kike Hernandez is slated to be their starting center fielder, and then Teoscar Hernandez, and then Shohei as the DH. Great lineup. It's something the Phillies can compete with when you go Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, Alec Boehm, Nick Castellanos, Bryson Stott, JT Realmuto, Max Kepler, and Brandon Marsh. That's a lineup that can compete with that Dodgers team. And if you don't think so, I just don't know what to tell you. Do the Dodgers have a better bullpen? Sure, but the Phillies have a better starting rotation. Give me Wheeler, Nola, Sanchez, Ranger, Luzardo, Walker, and Andrew Painter, simply because those guys can stay healthy, versus Blake Snell, who can't get out of the fifth inning, Yamamoto, who was injured a lot last year, Glasnow, who's a walking injury, Shohei Ohtani, who's not starting the year pitching, Roki Sasaki, who's a rookie, And Tony Gonsolin, Clayton Kershaw, Dustin May, who's always injured as well. Kershaw's older, injured a lot. I don't know. I genuinely think that the Phillies have what it takes to be a top 4 team in Major League Baseball this year. With the Dodgers. With whoever you want to throw out from the American League. The Yankees are injury prone all up and down. Garrett Cole may miss the year with Tommy John surgery. Giancarlo Stanton has elbow injuries that could put him out for the year. The Yankees don't have pitching. Nobody in the American League really scares me. You know? Sure, the Red Sox signed Alex Bregman, but, like, what else do they have? Devers, sure. They don't have pitching. Sure, they signed Walker Buehler. But one guy doesn't make a team. You know, the AL West, the Rangers, they were a one-hit wonder in my opinion. The Astros are getting younger, so who knows what they do. The A's are a mess. The Angels are a mess. The Mariners can't get out of their own way. The Royals could be good. We'll see what they do in the playoffs. The Orioles, we'll see what they do. The Twins don't really scare me. The Guardians, they don't really scare me. The Phillies have a really, really good opportunity in front of them this year to be one of the final teams standing. And then it's a matter of going toe-to-toe, more than likely, with the Los Angeles Dodgers. The National League is a far tougher league, conference, whatever, than the American League, especially in its current state. The Yankees are injured. And outside of the Yankees, I just don't see the appeal of the American League right now. Could that change? Sure. But the Phillies right now, in my opinion, are the second best team in baseball, and it's not even close. From top to bottom, not even close. It's Dodgers, defending world champs. You're going to be the champs. You got to beat the champs. Dodgers are here. Phils are right here. Just the players have to deliver now. It's on the players to deliver. And that's what everyone has to realize. It's on the players to finally deliver in the playoffs. And hopefully that's this year. Because they have the talent to do it. I think they have the drive to do it. I think they're motivated from the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. And we'll see if they get it done. And you can look your best while repping the Phils this season and beyond with our friends at FOCO. We love FOCO here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. They've been repping with us, rocking with us for quite a while now, since the 2023 playoffs, right before when they sent me my overalls. And FOCO genuinely has the best collectibles, merchandise, apparel for fans of all teams, officially licensed across the board, from overalls for the Phils, short talls that I've been saying I can't wait. I tried them on the other day. I tried my short talls on the other day because they were calling to me like the Green Goblin mask. And I'm just like, oh, I can't wait for that warm summer air to be hitting my body, wearing these short talls, letting the calves breathe, getting a little sun on the skin, eating a nice little Bull's barbecue. The short talls are going to be a staple of this summer for the boy. You can get yours. Use our link in the description. Shop everything FOCO has to offer. Officially licensed apparel, merchandise, and collectibles for the Phils, the Eagles, the Sixers, the Flyers, the Union, and every sports team known to man. College sports, you name it. FOCO's your place to go. Use our link in the description. Get your short talls, get your overalls, get your Phillies gear for the season. And we thank FOCO for being a proud partner of the podcast. All right. Here's the elephant of the podcast. The elephant in the room. Daryl Morey. And I don't like talking about the basketball team at this current moment in time because they piss me off to no end. And it's not even necessarily the team. It's the organization as a whole. Daryl Morey was at the Sloan Analytics Conference, I think it's called. He's doing a panel with Pablo Torre. And drops a quote that may be one of the most asinine, tone-deaf, and truly just out-of-touch quotes I have heard from somebody running a professional sports team's business decisions, effectively. From a GM, from a president of blank sport operations. It is truly one of the most asinine and tone-deaf things I've ever heard. So Daryl Morey, the Philly fans surprised me in this manner. So I guess it's 2 seasons ago now. We were up 3-2 on the Celtics. Objectively, in Vegas, we were at the highest odds to win the championship that year because they felt that the team out of the East would win. Well, Daryl, that's wrong because there was a shit ton of good teams in the West, which all nullify the odds for one another and make it harder for them to win a championship and easier for the team in the Eastern Conference to win until it's determined which team makes it out. So, Daryl doesn't know sports gambling odds. Analytics guy doesn't know odds. I guess it wasn't like above 50. I've scraped 50 when we were up on the Warriors in 2018, and we were up 3-2. Obviously, we then lost a close game at home, which was very frustrating. Then we had a very bad loss in Game 7. And, it's a little bit similar to the LeBron-Michael Jordan argument. Objectively, people should feel better about that. Then the next season, we had a very entertaining Knicks series. Like, almost famously entertaining. Daryl, what made that Knicks series famously entertaining? It was a first-round game. A first-round series, rather. What are we talking about? What makes a first-round NBA playoff series famously entertaining? I digress. I think it was voted best series that year. By who? And for me, it was just stressful. But for everyone else, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's very stressful. And we lost in 6 games, to a Knicks team that was not as good as the Celtics team. We lost to the year before. And I was very down after the loss. And I was like, man, people are going to be so angry. And they were angry. Obviously, everyone wants us to win. But they were less angry, yes, than the year before. And anger is all that drives Sixers fans. The aggregators are going to have a field day with this. But they were less angry, was my perception. I don't know for sure. It's not like you're surveying everyone. How angry are you? And that really threw me. Because to me, I'm just trying to win the title. And so the year before, the way we measure it, it was objectively better. Even though still a 0 on the Boolean scale I'm judged on. So it should all be the same. And that surprised me. Oh. It's crazy how tone deaf this guy is. And I like Daryl Morey in a lot of ways. But I just, it's time. Like, you had Hinkie, you had the Colangelo, you had Elton Brand, and now you have Daryl. And they all have one thing in common. They never got out of the second round of the playoffs. When you have GMs like Howie Roseman, and you have GMs like Dave Dombrowski, who has the title of President of Baseball Operations, Howie is President of Football Operations. When you have somebody like Danny Briere, who's at the beginning stage of his GMing career with the Philadelphia Flyers. You see people who are extremely talented at their job, know what they're doing, you trust in what they're doing. And in Danny Briere's case, you see somebody who is taking a team from where they've been stuck for well over a decade and being not afraid to push buttons, to reset in so many aspects and make a team better. Daryl Morey has not made this team better as the GM, President of Basketball Operations, whatever you want to say. This season in particular has soured me on Daryl in so many ways. But the fact that we have not seen nor heard from him in the public eye up until now with this quote, when the entire Joel Embiid saga has gone on this entire season, the Paul George messiness has happened this entire season. We haven't seen or heard from Daryl once until now. And you say, anger is all that drives Sixers fans. Daryl, anger doesn't drive us. Passion drives us. We have suffered with this basketball team my entire lifetime. This organization has not won a championship since 1983, 10 years my senior. We had a morsel, a small taste in 2001 of being in the finals and then got waxed. And since then, this organization has not made it out of the second round of the playoffs. Since 2001. 24 fucking years. The anger is us showing that we as fans give a fuck when we quite frankly shouldn't. Because the guy running the show upstairs is more worried about the football team in the nation's capital. He's more worried about the hockey team in North Jersey. He's more worried about his Premier League soccer team across the pond. And his business partner is more worried about a baseball team in Cleveland, Ohio. It's a trickle-down effect from up top to the front office level, to the players on the court, the coaching staff, all the way down to the fans. You wasted the prime years of one of the most talented players I've ever seen play basketball. That's why we're angry. We're angry because nothing has changed. Nothing has changed since you've been in charge of the decision making for this basketball team. That's why fans like myself and thousands of others are angry and have barely paid attention to this organization the entire year. You signed a marquee free agent to join Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. And you're in the lottery right now. You're in the lottery. You're in the fucking lottery. You're 22 and 41. 22 and 41. Just let that sink in. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing that this is where we are. It's truly the Thanos meme when it comes to the Sixers. You started the process, you go through everything, and you get stuck back in NBA purgatory. Cue Thanos. Where did it lead you? Back to me. This team is a failure. This organization is a failure. My organizational rankings, it's Phillies and Eagles in their own category. S tier. Then we go to like B tier, and that's the Flyers for me right now. And probably the Union in the B tier. Granted, they're playing really well and they're working their way up. They could move on up to A tier any day. And then right now, low end B tier, high end C tier is probably the Wings. Also in B tier is probably the Water Dogs. The Sixers are an unmitigated disaster failure. The only thing putting them in D tier for me is the fact that Tyrese Maxey is on this team. And Jared McCain will be on this team moving forward. Other than that, there's nothing to write home about this team. And Daryl Morey being so tone deaf as a GM in this city drives me up a wall. I'm over it. I've lost over the years of doing this podcast and all of the constant heartbreak we've gotten with the Philadelphia 76ers. I've lost my love full-fledged for the NBA. I have no desire to watch anything NBA. It's a bad product. And the only time I was tuning in was for the Sixers. And guess what? I found an even worse product. They're going to have to do a lot to rein somebody like me back in because I am so out on that team outside of, Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Jared McCain. They missed their window with this core. And it's a shame. It's a damn shame. And you know what? They're going to be hitting the golf course sooner rather than later. And that's why this Sixers rant is brought to you by our new pals, new sponsor alert, our friends at Devereux Golf. Devereux Golf, baby. We are up. Very excited to welcome Devereux to the Underground family. Guys, their aesthetic fits Underground to a T. Skulls, in-your-face designs, swaggy as all hell on the golf course. I'm a huge fan. Ever since I surveyed their website and reached out to them to get on board with us, huge fan. We love the fact that Devereux is on board with us. Genuinely, like, I can't wait to get some stuff for the spring and the summer, because I am almost there. I'm almost there to being committed to just going out and golfing a bit once it gets warmer, just for fun. And that's the fun of golf. Yeah, it doesn't have to always be competitive. It doesn't have to be, a huge ordeal. You can go out and have fun with the boys. Steve and I have been talking about a little mini series, emphasis on mini, that we could be doing this summer as well. And I'm going to be rocking Devereux in that bad boy. So, use our link in the description. Use the link in the description, and you will get 15% off your first order with our friends at Devereux Golf when you use code WELCOME15. That's WELCOME15 for 15% off your first purchase with our friends at Devereux Golf. I'm stoked. Welcome to the Underground, Devereux. We're very happy to have you. Again, code WELCOME15 for 15% off your first order with our friends at Devereux Golf. Let's move to the Fly Guys. Fly Guys brought to you by our pals, PHI Apparel Company, our merch partners. We love PHI Apparel Company. You want to stand out in the crowd, you're going to a Flyers game, gearing up for the Phils, the Union, or you want to rep Underground Sports Philadelphia, PHI Apparel Company is the place to do it with their unique designs for all. There's no doubt in our minds and in their minds, you will stand out in the crowd. Go to phiapparel.co and use code UNDERGROUND at checkout, and you will get 10% off your next merch order from our merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. That's 10% off your next merch order from our friends at PHI Apparel Company when you use code UNDERGROUND. Linked in the description. Go use that bad boy. Go get your Underground Sports Philadelphia merch. Shout out to PHI Apparel Company. We love them. Our exclusive merch partners here at Underground. The Flyer season is effectively over. Since we last recorded, Scott Lawton has been traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs. John Tortorella is lashing out at the media. And, when there was a little bit of optimism going, it's kind of gone now because the Flyers, I think the last thing I saw, they have a 0.8% chance to make the playoffs. Less than 20 games to go. Sitting in second to last in the Metropolitan Division. 3 points behind the Islanders. 6 points behind the Rangers. 2 points ahead of the Penguins. The Penguins have a game in hand. It's there's still so much optimism with the Flyers, obviously, for the future. You went and got a first-round pick for Scott Lawton, effectively. You went out and made moves to signal, hey, we are trying to get better. We are trying to build for the future. And they got a 2027 first-round pick, forward Nikita Grebenkin for Scott Lawton, who allegedly is like best friends with Matvey Michkov. And you also traded Eric Johnson to the Colorado Avalanche again for Giovanni Smith. Apologies for a mispronunciation there if that is the case. It's the signal that like they're building for the future, and I'm fine with that. And it's one of those things that what the Flyers did, it sucks losing a player like Scott Lawton, who's a career Flyer, really felt like he loved it here. And, you know, on top of that, the Flyers also traded Kuzmenko, who they got in the Farabee and Morgan Frost trade, to L.A. for a 2027 third-round pick. Played in 7 games with the Flyers. He's 29. It was Kuzmenko was tough to project as being part of the plan beyond this season. And they're retaining 50% of Kuzmenko's expiring deal. So it bumped the return asset by a round or two. And the Flyers also sent a 2025 7th-round pick in what went back to Calgary. That's fine. You know, you built on that asset for sure. And, you know, you get that prospect in Nikita Grebenkin, who, like I said, is apparently friends with Michkov. And it's just another piece. He's 21 years old. He's a winger, 6'2", 210 pounds. And the Flyers don't have that many wingers, so that's big time. Smith, that they got from Colorado, is 27. He is he'll be a nice piece, you know, for this team. And I think what the Flyers did is something that the Flyers were afraid to do this in years past under Chuck Fletcher and past regimes. They were afraid to dismantle the roster in order to make sure that the future looked brighter. And I think what they did at this trade deadline should be a signal of what's to come. This season was one of those seasons that you took it with a grain of salt because you didn't really know what was on the horizon. You knew Michkov was coming over. You had to figure out your goaltending situation, which I think is still very fluid, and you're finding what works for guys. But you're looking at this team and you're starting to see parts that are going to work for them in the now and in the future. And I think giving Scott Lawton an opportunity to go and compete for a Stanley Cup is doing right by him, by the organization. I think going and getting the assets you got to get a first-round pick for Scott Lawton is huge. To go and get, you know, a third-round pick for a guy that you just acquired, you know, recently and bolster on the draft capital is huge. And I think this is just a signal of what's to come from Danny Briere and Keith Jones running the show for the Philadelphia Flyers. And if you're not excited about the future of this team, I don't know what to tell you. And I'm not even the biggest Flyers fan. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, you know, future projections for guys and stuff like that. I'm a big casual Flyers fan, but I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about what this team's going to bring to the table and bring to the ice next year, year after that, and build upon what they're putting together in what is hopefully the pieces of the puzzle that form a Stanley Cup champion hockey team. And I understand it's tough to lose a franchise icon in Scott Lawton. And yes, Scott Lawton is a franchise icon. But at the end of the day, in order to get better for the core of this team, you had to make some tough decisions. And you had to acquire draft picks. You had to acquire pieces to ensure that the future was going to be as bright as possible, and the window for when it is time to kick that door down and get into the playoffs on a consistent basis, that window stays open and that door stays open for as long as possible before you have to retool and reassess the way the roster is built, hopefully a decade plus from now. I'm cool with what the Flyers did. I'm going to miss Scott Lawton, but at the end of the day, this is a positive step in the right direction for the Philadelphia Flyers organization, and I can't knock them for doing it. This is a signal to the fans and a signal to the roster and everything in between that this change and these moves being made are positives for what's to come in the future. And that's what Flyers fans should be. You should be celebrating that. That Danny Briere recognizes, hey, we need to do this in order to accomplish our ultimate goals. I think Danny's done a great job so far as the GM of the team. He's putting this team in the right position to be successful for a long, long, long time. And you can't knock him for that. And he has me, a casual Flyers fan, a casual, I'm not watching every single game, but I am invested in the Flyers' future as a Flyers fan. I'm just not diehard because I've lost that trait, and I never really was a huge hockey fan to begin with growing up, which is odd because hockey was huge in my family. But me as a casual Flyers fan, this has me excited, and I can't wait to see what moves are made in the offseason, how drafts are approached. The next 3 years, the Flyers are set up so well in the draft, and that's what they need to get better. They need youth in the pipeline. They need guys. They need big-time dudes in the draft. That's what they have. And if they feel like they can part ways with some of the picks to get ready-made NHL talent, they have that to go. Danny Briere, I trust him. I trust Danny Briere. I trust him a lot. And I trust Keith Jones. Would love to have either of them on this show. But I'm going to miss Scott Lawton. I think what he brought to the organization is invaluable. He's an all-time Flyer, in my opinion. And I wish him nothing but success in Toronto. We'll wrap here with the Philadelphia Union, who are buzzing right now. It is brought to you by our friends over at Biñho Board. It is the next big tabletop game for your man cave, your she shed, your tailgates, whatever it may be, parties. If you bring out a Biñho board, you're going to get the people going. It's paper football meets foosball in the biggest tabletop flicking experience. We love Biñho here. Like I've been mentioning on Top Bins, I mentioned a bit here and there on this show too. We're trying to do a live tailgate podcast like we've done in the past for the Phillies, and trying to do that with the Phillies again this year as well. But we're going to try to do it with the Union this year. I think it would be a ton of fun to go down to the Soob and have the tailgate podcast, have the Biñho boards buzzing, and go take in what right now is a very good, very talented Philadelphia Union team. So we're working on some stuff there. But use our link in the description. Shop Biñho and all the boards, accessories, merchandise, including officially licensed Philadelphia Union Biñho boards. And use our link, and when you check out, use code Biñho Bennett 62. That's code Biñho Bennett 62. When you use our link in the description, you get 10% off entire order from our friends at Biñho. The Union did exactly what we asked of them to do since the last time we recorded, and that is beat the New England Revolution 2-0. And the Union are setting records in a multitude of ways. It's the first time that they have started 3-0 in franchise history. It is the first time that they have let me find it here. It is a fascinating stat. First time they're 3-0. They have the best goal differential through 3 games. I think in either MLS or team history, one of the two. And they are the only undefeated team in the league right now at 3-0, with 9 points, a +7 goal differential. Teams behind them are Miami, who are 2-0-1, Columbus 2-0-1, Cincinnati 2-1. Team's good. They're playing good ball, and I'm a huge fan of just the way that they're winning. And I think everyone is really catching on now, especially because it's so early, but like recognizing like there's a bit of a buzz around this team. There's a bit of a change in the air from the last couple of seasons, from kind of just the disappointments and the letdowns with all the talent that they have. And, you know, they still have one of the best athletes to ever play in Philadelphia, and Andre Blake, holding it down in net for them. Gazdag's still here. Ty Baribo has been unbelievable. Lukic, the new guy, is fantastic. He scored against New England. And they get their first clean sheet of the regular season here. 3-0. They have Nashville on Sunday at 2:25 p.m. Eastern at home. Then you're home to St. Louis on Saturday, March 22nd. And you're at Miami, which, again, you take that with a grain of salt because you don't know when Messi or any of the big-name players are going to be playing until game time rolls around. But I said it with Harrison. You go 4-0-1 or 4-1-0, whatever it may be, however the losses and ties are distributed. 4-1-0. Call it a draw or a loss, whatever it may be, against Miami. You put yourself in really good positioning in the early go of the season, especially when you're not playing in other tournaments like you have been in years past, where you can just focus on MLS play. And it's going well in the early go. Obviously, it's a long season in the MLS now. And that is one of my, not concerns, but just, I keep it in the back of my brain. I've been talking to some people, and I said, the way that the new manager, and I'm blanking on his name, Bradley Carnell, kind of runs his system, I'm not, again, concerned is not the word, but I'm just cautious about running these guys too hard. It reminds me of Tom Thibodeau in the NBA, where, balls to the wall type of coaching, 82-game regular season, guys crash out, burn out in the playoffs. I don't want to see that from this Union team. I think they're very good. I think they have the talent to compete. Am I saying they're going to win an MLS Cup? I'm not there yet, but they've got a very talented roster still, even with so much turnover, guys leaving in the offseason. And they've gotten some younger pieces in, and they're just playing really, really well. I think they are put together extremely well with a lot of good pieces that can help this team succeed and be a top of the Eastern Conference table team for most of, if not the entire season. I don't see them being a team that's in the 6, 7, 8, 9s. I see them being a team that's a top 4 team in the East, the way that they're playing. I just genuinely think they are playing really good, and it's impressive, it's refreshing, and I hope that Philly fans get behind this team and support them, because obviously Sixers stink. Flyer season is effectively over. There's not much in the major 4 sport realm until the Phillies come back from spring training. You want something else to get behind. Let's get behind this Union team. Let's support these boys like we did in 22, like we did in 23. Let's make sure that, they know the city is supporting them and they have a championship mentality. And, our guy Mark Kramer was at the game for the home opener. He said the vibes were great. Let's keep it going. Let's keep the good vibes rolling at the Soup. So I'm excited to see how things shake out this weekend. Against Nashville, where are they sitting? They're sitting in 10th right now at 1-1-1. And a beatable team. And then after that is St. Louis, who right now are 1-2, the 2 being 2 draws. But they're not scoring all that much. They've scored 3 goals. They haven't allowed a goal this year, which is pretty impressive. Which means they've just drawn 0-0 a bunch. They beat the LA Galaxy 3-0 for their first win. But they're a beatable team. They're a beatable team. And I think if the Union can be 5-0, would that be right? 5-0? Going into that game against Miami. So 2 more would put them at 5-0. Yes. I think that's right where you want to be. Beating 2 inferior teams, continuing this hot start to the season. And then you look at April. Orlando City, you're at home against them in a rematch. You go to New York City FC. You're home to Atlanta United, home to DC United. You're at Montreal to start the month of May. So in that pocket of April of Orlando City, New York City, Atlanta, and DC, let's take a look at the standings right now of where those teams are. DC is in 5th place. They're giving up a shit ton of goals. That seems like a beatable team. Atlanta, not that good right now. Orlando City, not that good right now. Montreal, not good at all. New York City FC, they're in 9th. They've given up 4 goals as well. Not that good. If all goes right, and soccer's such a fascinating game that it always doesn't, but if it does, the Union could be sitting pretty going into the month of May and into Memorial Day and the dog days of summer along with the Fightin' Phils. So let's keep it up, boys. Let's keep dooping on. And hopefully we can work out a Union Tailgate podcast this season, which would be a metric shit ton of fun. But that's all I got for you guys on this one. I told you it was a loaded show, a lot of fun. Thank you for sticking with me if you're watching on the YouTube, as I was still feeling it in my back. Make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, Twitch. We're on every goddamn platform. So keep on keep it on. Keep on subscribing. Apple and Spotify. Keep on following on the socials. But keep subscribing on Apple and Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star review. It genuinely does help this show continue to grow, helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia, and lets us do more dope stuff with and for you guys. And keep subscribing to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@undergroundsportsphiladelphia. That's where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It's all on our YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 1,100 subscribers. We're at 1,032. Let's make that happen sooner rather than later. Let's get to 1,100 before the end of the month. I know there's 3 weeks left. Let's make it happen. 68 more of you. The field of 68. Right around the corner with March Madness. Let's get that bracket filled out. Click that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment in the comment section. And stay tuned because Underground Madness 2025 announcement should be rolling out sometime this week. Bracket should be announced hopefully early this week to join our bracket challenge and everything. We've got a lot planned with the bracket and our March Madness coverage. Very excited for it. Let's make it happen. Should have some news across the board, but our bracket should be out early this week, either by the time you guys are listening to this, like Monday night, or sometime on Tuesday. I'm hoping to have the bracket situated so you guys can join the group, get in early, and then we rock and roll for Underground Madness Year 7. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the YouTube. And this show is proudly presented by the city of Vineland, as I mentioned at the top of the show. The city of Vineland. Guys, if you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process, and their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you're considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. This has been episode number 723 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm your boy KB. Thanks for hanging with me and get your Monday started off on the right foot. 1 month it has been since we were crowned Super Bowl champions. Crazy to think, but we're still champs, baby. Harrison and I will be back in your ears and on your eyes on Thursday, breaking down everything from the Phils, NFL free agency, if Daryl Morey talks out of line again, maybe some Flyers, and definitely some Philadelphia Union. But until then, I'm getting the heck up out of here, and I'm signing off. Peace.